Top 3 handguns for me. What are my top 3 if I had to whittle down the collection to just 3? What would those 3 be? That's a hard choice. Hopefully a world I never have to live in. But that's what we're going to talk about today, because that will, I think, be helpful to you guys more than myself. That's why I do the podcast. Anyway, that's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome to Gunfighter Life, the podcast where we talk about guns, gunfighting, tactics, handguns, ballistics, defense, hunting, the right way with Almighty God at the center, Judeo-Christian values, and real-world first-hand experience. I am blessed to serve you as host, a servant of God, a follower of Jesus Christ. The rest after that, less important. Bullet points for the bio are in the show notes. Alrighty, if I could only have 3 handguns. Alright, let me start with the number 1, the one that is on my hip. Funny how that works. Alright. SIG 226. The SIG 226 is legendary. I don't think I have to. One of the best combat handguns. Period. End of sentence. I don't like the regular version, though. I like the single action only. I like single action only. I think it's a better system. I like a manual safety. I know it bucks the tactical trend. I like a manual safety. I like a manual thumb safety. I think it has more advantages than disadvantages. For how fast you can move your finger, the less distance you have to move it, the faster you can be. Why mess with double single? I can shoot double single. I have carried double single, carried it on duty, carried it in war, carried it as a law enforcement officer. I don't like it. I think single action is better. Why deal with the double action if I don't have to? And also, I like a manual safety. I like the manual safety versions. The most common one is the SIG Legion, of which I also own. This one is the ZevTech. It is the ZevTech 226. Yes, it's mounted with an optic because it's 2025. Come on. The gun that's on my hip, probably the best carry gun that I have. That's a good mix of very, very fast, very, very durable, very, very rugged, accurate, all the things, right? And you'll notice common theme here. Rugged, reliable, accurate, useful, good capacity. 20 round with a flush fit magazine on here. The SIG 226, single action only variant. I've got a Zev, I've also got a Legion. Either one of those, I'm just going to pick the Zev. It's on my hip. It's a little bit lighter as far as cutouts. It's got a little bit less reciprocating mass. I like that. I carry a 226. I compete with a 226 single action only. It's a phenomenal gun. I don't think I have to get into justifying why it's such a legendary, reliable gun. It's simple. It's rugged. It's got military service under its belt. Now, part of me wanted to kind of cheat on this and say, well, my second gun would also be my second SIG 226 because I break guns. I wear guns out. But let's just assume for this thought experiment, if I break a gun or wear a gun out or crack the frame, which I've been known to do, that I can just get another one and replace that model. Otherwise, I would pick my SIG Legion and my SIG ZevTech single action only 226, bunch of interchangeable parts. But let's just, for the sake of this thought experiment, say a different model. This one may be a shocker because everybody knows it will just randomly all the clickbaity YouTuber stuff will say that it's just not safe. I'm here to tell you it's one of my go-to carry guns when I'm not carrying this one, and it is the M17, the gun I love to hate or hate to love. I got it because I wanted to try the military's new handgun years ago, and I also wanted to get used to running an optic as a EDC gun. And I got a used M17 for like $400-ish bucks, I think. And I just thought I'd get it and try the new handgun and whatever, it'll just be an experiment. I still own that gun. It's one of my most often shot centerfire handguns. It's a little bit lighter than the SIG 226. Also polymer and more modular. So the modularity, if I'm only going to have 3 handguns, the modularity, that's kind of a big deal. Also, as much as I love metal-on-metal guns, I think that polymer and chassis style system, the gun itself will last longer because I can replace a bunch of the small parts and the frame. Can't really replace the frame on the SIG 226. Also, it's a very good trainer for the SIG 226. They're both SIGs, but they also have a similar grip angle. They have similar ergonomics, similar feel. The trigger is not as good because, newsflash, it's a striker-fired handgun. But it's also not a very fancy, expensive handgun, so I also do like to teach and train and get training, and I'm a professional firearms instructor. Do that professionally right now, but I don't like to show up to a class with a several $1,000 STI, or maybe even my ZevTech, although less so with that one. And people think that I shoot really good because I have a really fancy handgun. A lot of times, which is not on the list because it's, in my opinion, an outdated kind of garbage handgun. Not garbage, outdated and just horribly bad ergonomically, the Glock 17. Just to show people that I can shoot even a Glock. But the M17. It's a basic polymer striker-fired handgun, but it's modular. It comes with optics mounting ability. Again, it's 2025, guys. Wish it took the same mags, but it doesn't. But it's similar size, a little bit lighter, a little bit harder to run, and a little bit slower, a little bit worse trigger, but all, again, very little, very minute compared to the SIG 226. It's a very good trainer and high round count, just beat it up gun. And if you're like, today you can't carry the 226, today you got to carry the M17, I'm like, fine, yeah, fine. I'm fine with it. I'm not worried about it randomly going off because some influencer said that it would with no proof. Right, hearsay is not proof. Right, I'm not a lawyer, but I was a law enforcement officer. I've testified in court. I know the difference between hearsay and actual proof. Anyway, I like the M17. It might shock you that it's on the list, but it's a good polymer striker-fired handgun. Again, my first gun is not a polymer striker-fire, but I think they're the most common kind of platform. It should be on the list, and it's the military's current carry gun. Makes sense to kind of have it on the list. If I could only have 3, and it was one of the 3, it's one of the ones that I'm picking, despite what influencers might say. Okay, so that brings me to number 3, Trace Pistola. Pistola numero tres. The third pistol on the thing, and it is going to please some people, maybe shock some other people. It is the Smith & Wesson 360 PD. Light scandium frame 357 Magnum / 38 Special. Why? For that very reason that it's very light. It's 11 point something ounces. It gives me 5 rounds of 357 Magnum or 38 Special. I am a big fan of carrying a full-size handgun on my hip. I am right now. I'm sitting in my bedroom recording a podcast for you guys. I carried when I went to the gym today. I think you should, if you can, carry a full-size fighting handgun on your hip. They're easier to shoot, but you can't always. For a very small, lightweight handgun, 11 point something ounces, it's a good handgun. For a pocket gun, it's a good handgun. Again, bucking the tactical trend, a lot of people will tell you, don't carry with a hammer. Well, even before I had this gun, I've had this gun for years and years. The first handgun I ever bought with my own money, when I was L.A.P.D, when I was Marine Corps, they issued me the M9, which is a good handgun. Recently, thanks to the patrons, got a single action only 92 to compare, although I'm waiting on some parts. They're out of stock with Beretta to mount an optic, but stay tuned for that. Who knows, maybe it'll blow me out of the water and I'd pick it in the future over the 226, but right now it's a 226. Where was I? I like a hammer. Even before this, I had the just regular stainless steel version, 38 Special, because it's what was approved by L.A.P.D for a backup gun. They issued us our duty guns. We had to buy a backup gun. It was my backup gun for a long, long time, and my carry gun off duty when I just wanted to carry in a pocket. I went through a bunch of different phases on where to carry it, even tried the crazy ankle carry for a time. But, not the best in a foot pursuit. But I like the hammer. It'll get you killed in the streets. So I've never had it like it's more of a hindrance. And I have had it where I wanted to use a single action trigger pull. And you just can't do that with a hammerless model. I like the 360 over the 340. Both of those are scandium frame. One has a hammer and one's double action only internal hammer. I like the 360 PD. 11 point something ounces, 5 rounds of 38 Special or a 357 Magnum. Recoil is brutal. Again, it's not my go-to fighting handgun. It's a very light, small, but still powerful pocket handgun. And you can't always carry a full-size gun, and that's better to have than no gun. It's versatile. It's reliable. I don't think I have to defend the choice of 357 Magnum and that it's a good caliber. Even the 38 Special, it's decent in such a lightweight handgun. And oftentimes, even though it's 357 Magnum, especially for like city carry, I will carry it with 38 Special because I don't care how strong you are, you increase recoil, it's slower to get follow-up shots. And I'd rather be able to shoot faster than have the more power. And it's quite a stout recoiling gun in .357 Magnum. Not unshootable, but it's stout. It's a light gun with a very powerful cartridge. I will generally, again, for city carry it with .38 Special. So that would be my third pick. I'd be very interested what you guys would pick if you had to whittle down your handgun collection to only 3. Tactical tip of the day. I don't always do products, but I'm certainly not sponsored by Spear, but if you said I had to pick one defensive load for the handgun, for 9mm. For the 9mm handguns, like you have to just settle on one. I like 147 grain in a 9mm. I like the recoil impulse. I like the terminal performance. I would pick 147 grain, and if I had to pick one, I'd pick the Spear Gold Dot. It's long, it's storied, and there's a lot of other loads that I like a Winchester Ranger T147, but unlike those, I think it's got better distribution. It's common, it's not hard to find, not prohibitively expensive. So if I was picking a carry load, you got to carry this for the foreseeable future because hollow point technology, improves. But I would probably pick the 147 grain Spear Gold Dot. Anyway, that'll bring us to the tactical verse of the day, more important than any of the stuff we've heretofore discussed. From one of the Proverbs, wisdom, right? We all could use more wisdom. Whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. Thanks for listening, and have a blessed day.